Hello everyone, this is CGNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video. And can I just take a second just to say how happy I am right now to actually be able to sit down and talk about a Rangers related subject and not be grumpy and not be annoyed, because what I've just witnessed, ladies and gentlemen, friendly or not, is a lot of positivity. Something that was so well strangled out of this Rangers team for a very, very long time, that now that we're starting to see it come back into the team, it almost feels like we didn't actually deserve it. You know what I mean? We can't trust it right now. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are going to break everything down from Rangers 3 by Leverkusen 0. Now, of course, with this being a friendly or anything like that, we're not really going to dive deep into the depths of the soul of the game of football, but still, there is still very important things to actually break down from the game regarding how we set up, how we approach the game, the key changes from now than what was there previously, and of course, with it being Michael Beale's first game in charge and his only game in charge to implement what he wants from this Rangers team before the league restarts, that in itself is important and needs to be discussed. So let's go ahead and talk about this game of football then, shall we? And I think it's very funny to now look back, because when the starting 11 was announced on paper, there was quite a lot of frustration and maybe even negativity. People saying it's the same. It's the same. What's actually going on here? It's the same picture, you know what I mean? It's like that Office meme. They're the same picture. But that's kind of what we talked about when we actually discussed Michael Beale on this channel. He likes to line up in a 4-3-3. Doesn't mean it's the exact same 4-3-3 as Gio had, and I think if you watch the game of football, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm just going to dive right into it, because what I loved is how it actually looked and how it performed, because it was so different from what we've seen for so long. Not just defensively, but I liked the front three. So just behind Cholak, we had Ryan Kent, we had Tillman, and we had Rabbi Matondo, but they were very narrow, they were tucked in, and what was great is they were constantly interchanging, and you could see how much of a defensive headache that was for Bayer Leverkusen, because they never knew, because 1 minute Tillman was central, Ryan Kent was on the left, next minute he was on the right, so they were kind of getting confused. And that wee just split second, when you do that, when you constantly change and have defenders not getting comfortable in a game and getting defenders not being able to settle in a game, creates the wee bits, couple yards here or there, that genuinely creates goal scoring opportunity. So I absolutely loved the way we approached our front three in this game of football, and I think that there is something to be very, very encouraged by going forward at this football club, because they weren't wasted out in the wing. Tillman wasn't getting put on the right hand side and being absolutely wasted for the majority of the game. No, they had the freedom and trust for the manager that they're smart enough and they know football enough to get in the right place at the right time to cause issues, and that there for me was brilliant, and it gave us a lot of early success in the game. Again, not only because it was hard to actually break down where each player was actually going to be, but it also pinned the defensive team by Leverkusen in, because they couldn't get easy passes in, or they couldn't just stroll forward because we were sitting in a horseshoe and just allowed them to come on. No, we were pinning them in, and that allowed the midfield of Ryan, Jack and Kamara, every single time the ball finally broke by the front three, is actually there just to nip it, win it back, get it back, get it back. And it was the best I've seen Glenn Kamara for a long time. And I think the Michael Beale standards were set within 3-4 minutes of the game. Not only did we make it difficult for the opposition to play, but you could see the aggression, the high press. People, we've finally got the high press again. God, I could greet right now. And if that doesn't get me emotional like the end of Ghost with Patrick Swayze saying goodbye to Demi Moore, the next moment actually will, people, because 3 minutes 15 seconds on the clock. Remember the time we done a corner that was an in-swinger. Honestly, no, that's it, I'm done, people, because what more do you want me to say? We actually done an in-swinging corner. Now, it never actually contributed to anything in terms of a goal or anything like that, but the fact that we're actually changing it and being a wee bit more different from set pieces is enough for me. The game could have finished right there, and I'd been sitting sleeping like this. I sleep like dry, I don't know why. I've just got to commit to it now. I'd slept like that, just because of the difference, and we're no so stuck in a rigid way that we were. There was freedom, there was creativity, and that was 3 minutes in the game, people. I was finished. Didn't he? And picking up to something that I said previously, I loved the way that Jacko and Kamara was nipping in and winning the ball. We had a couple of nearlies in the opening 10 minutes, but the first save in the game actually came from Alan McGregor, as it was a good save from Jonathan Tah. Gets his head on it. He's a big animal, you know. Regarding our defensive shape and size and everything like that, we've not really got our defenders back, so he was always going to be a monster in this game, and he got to that head and forced a good double save from Alan McGregor. But that there, which again was almost self-inflicted because Kamara tried a bit of a risky pass, again gone forward, so I won't complain that gave away the corner, but still we were able to grow into the game, and the front three started to cause a lot of issues. And the way the first goal actually breaks down, it's absolutely gorgeous bits of football. You've got James Sands bringing the ball down, just touching the ball. It just kills it right on his first touch. He passes it to Jacko. Jacko hits it away to Tavernier, who's bombing forward. Look at Tavernier's positioning in the game. Was it no like the way it used to be? I'm actually being forward, no sitting at the halfway line. No, we were going after it. This was by Leverkusen. It's a pretty good side, but you could see how high we were asking our fullbacks to be, and we zip it to him, and Tavernier does what he does. Brilliant ball into the mixer, where it's Tillman's run, which is absolutely fantastic here, and his finish is the way pretty much all his goals are. Immaculate, with a kind of touch volley right into the back of net. It's 1-0 to Rangers, it's 1-0 to Michael Beale, and I am a very, very happy, if not slightly overly grey man. And the happiness only continued, people, because again, Bayer Leverkusen were trying to play out from the back and play into the middle, but instead of doing what we've done over the last couple of minutes by allowing the opposition to play, because we always moved as if our entire team was on a line of shrine where they've all had to come back at the same time, as every time they tried to pass the ball in, Jacko was there, or Kamara was there, or we were winning it from our front three that was behind Antonio Cholak. It was great. We were keeping them under pressure. We end up winning a corner kick after another good bit of play. Tavernier sweeps, and now it is an outswinging corner, but you know the way we've actually approached the game so far, we've had a couple in-swingers, we've had a couple short ones. It's not so painfully obvious that what we are trying to do, that I think it does play its part in this goal. Right here, it's a wonderful ball in from Tavernier, and Big Tillman, Big Salmon Tillman gets up there, rises and puts it into the back of net, jumping it, I believe, between two centre-halves. Wonderful finish from the big man, wonderful goal, and can I just say, we scored a corner, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my head's there. We've scored a corner, we're playing attacking football, we're high pressing. Oh, if this is a dream, didn't wake me up. Speaking of dream, by the way, let's talk about Divine's performance in this game of football. Up against, out of position, may I add. He was playing at left back in this game because Bonner's, of course, playing at the World Cup right now. Divine was in there against Diaby, and if I may steal his last name for a puntastic split second, he was Divine in this game of football. Genuinely, Diaby's so fast, so direct, so talented, so creative, that matchup there was actually quite scaring me going into this game. When I seen the lineup, I was like, that's going to be a tough afternoon, but it wasn't for the young man, and full credit to the lad. He just had that Diaby running about daft like a dog at a park, man. He was just like, no, you can't go, and he wouldn't let him off the leash, people. This wasn't just go out there and have fun. No, you are with me right now. He took him for dog training, and it was brilliant to watch the young man take the Abbey like that. Every single time he tried to get the ball, he would try and cut inside. Young Adam was there, tried to go outside. Adam was there, matched him physically in that as well. It was brilliant to see, so shout out to the young man who will probably get lost in the shuffle for a lot of this, but I just wanted to give him a special mention. He wasn't phased at all. The man had been putting Diaby into SPCs all FIFA 23. And if you want another wee line or two about how different it was in that first half under Michael Beale than it was before, just before we wrapped up the first half, Alan McGregor trotted off his line and headered the football, people. McGregor's coming off his line. We've scored a corner, McGregor's coming off his line. We're actually high pressing, chasing the opposition down and putting them under pressure. Oh, it's beautiful, people. And his name is Michael Beale. Going into the second half, there were 7 changes, which did, I think, impact the game slightly because Cholak came off, Kent came off, Tillman came off, who was, of course, on 2 goals. We may have killed the man, but we didn't kill the idea in terms of subbing people off on a hat-trick. We pretty much subbed off the entire attack and midfield, giving Jacko and Kamara a rest, but keeping the defence, which I think was very, very fair, and it gives them more opportunities to play, because I can imagine it'll be pretty similar to the defence that's actually playing versus Hibs. Now, I know Michael Beale said don't look too much into into the team in this game regarding Hibs, but considering where Barisic is and where the Yilmaz situation is, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the back four coming versus Hibs. And they were given longer to play, but the rest of the team changed, like the likes of Scott Wright, Scotty Arfield, etc. came on, and Alfredo Morelos, who I was very, very, very impressed with, ladies and gentlemen. For me, it's the best Morelos that I've seen in, 9-10 months in terms of his approach, his attitude in the game, his work rate in the game, and the qualities that Morelos has always been able to bring in terms of running defenders and holding them off. He's always had that, but it's the latter there, or the previous ones that we mentioned there, the attitude and the work rate that hasn't been quite where it's needed to be over the last little while. But I thought he was excellent in this game, and the longer you watch today's video, you'll hear his name mentioned, especially in the next talking point, because despite making 7 changes, and Bayer Leverkusen never really made too many people, they kept a lot of their players on, and then periodically brought in players as the second half went on. But it was us that created the first major opportunity in the game, where Morelos does brilliantly, spins away from a defender, finds Scotty Arfield with a wonderful ball, and to be fair, Arfield, great first touch, holding the defender off. Sakala's then made a sprint, screaming for the football. Anybody could hear it, you know what I mean? Every single person on this earth could hear Sakala screaming for the tap-in, but Scotty Arfield does what he does and hits it straight at the goalkeeper. And you seen Sakala, that boy was fuming, he was hitting the ground, and very reminiscent. I know everyone goes back to the Diallo versus Dundee United, but remember Scotty Arfield a week later versus Ross County, where we also dropped points. It was the exact same type of scenario where Sakala again doesn't get the actual pass. I felt bad for the young man, but it was a great move that should have got a goal, either with Arfield finishing it better or just being a wee bit more street smarter. That's where I wish we were. I know it's a friendly and everything like that, but we'll see it in games. Just make the easy pass. It doesn't matter who scores as long as the team scores. But anyway, it's a good move that doesn't get the goal that it deserves, and that was sort of the scenario for a lot of the second half, people, because again we did have some good moments. We did have some good play. We just never put the ball into the back of net the amount of times we probably should have. Now, speaking of Sakala, by the way, he ends up coming off again despite being a second half substitution. I think they said he picked up a little bit of a niggle. Again, he's just coming back from that muscle/calf injury, so maybe they're just being overly cautious with him. But that did give the opportunity to Alex Lowry to come into the game, and right away, I mean, his first touch is almost a goal. Morelos again doing some good work, running the channels, cutting inside. I thought, for all love and money, people, that he was hitting that. I don't know if you thought the exact same, but he actually picks out Alex Lowry at the edge, just outside at the edge of the box, and he tries a wee curler that goes just wide. It was nearly one touch, one goal again for Alex Lowry, similar to what he done versus Hearts not too long ago, but it wasn't quite meant to be for Lowry. But he didn't allow that to faze him or frustrate him, because the next opportunity in the game, he picks the ball up in his own half, and he just gets the ball and he zips Alfredo Morelos in behind the Rangers, the Bayer Leverkusen defence. Morelos runs into the box. Morelos is running again, people. Can somebody check my pulse? Am I dead? Is this reality? He's running again, gets in the box, gets fouled. Tavernier steps up. I've got the tweet ready. You know what I mean? We're in swinging corners. We've scored a corner. Now there's a penalty. Beale, but he's missed it. He hit the post. I'm sick of watching missed penalties. I don't know about you, but see the World Cup and now this, I'm actually scared. Penalties used to bring me joy. Now I'm terrified because everybody misses them, apart from Messi and Ronaldo. Well, Messi's missed one. But anyway, people, we end up missing the penalty kick and you're thinking to yourself, this could be an absolute fudding. And then Bayer Leverkusen start getting a little bit of more joy down the side, and they get their biggest and best chance of the game, where they slip a ball in behind, I believe it's sort of be Sands and Tavernier. It gets in 1v1 with the keeper, and McLaughlin makes a wonderful save here. And actually, I think it's a very underrated save, because what happens 5 seconds after, I think Tavernier's getting a lot of the headlines. Rightly so, it's wonderful, but look at the save. The way McLaughlin goes down and spreads himself is absolutely fantastic. He's actually just very unlucky that his wonderful 1v1 save ends up going over him and allowing the boy pretty much to have a tap in. But as the guy is getting ready to tap it in, Tavernier comes out of nowhere with a wonderful bit of defending. Even Tavernier's defending now. This is incredible, people. Tavernier's out there, stops it from going in. He gets the celebrations that he deserves, but let's not forget about McLaughlin's part in that stoppage. Wonderful 1v1 save before Tavernier does what Tavernier does. He misses one at one end, but he stops another in for going in the other. I think We call that compromise. What's it been, like 5 seconds since we spoke about Alex Lowry? Yeah, whatever. It's been. Let's talk about him again, because again he picks the ball up in his own half and he runs 30, maybe 40 yards with the ball direct. Going forward, he passes it, I think, to maybe Lundstrom. Lundstrom passes it back, and then Lowry, isn't he going side to side, side to side, side to side nonsense? No, it's direct. It's forward. It's into the box. I know, it's revolutionary ideas, people, and this is where Morelos' strength comes into play. He's holding off, I think it is Big Tar that he's holding off, and he ends up passing the ball in to Scotty Arfield, who's got a free shot on goal yet again, and this time Scotty does get the goal that his overall play probably deserved, and Rangers certainly deserved in the game. And I know Morelos is magnificent in this. Arfield, great goal, but let's not forget Alex Lowry's impact again, who for me, I genuinely didn't think I've ever seen Alex Lowry have a bad game for Rangers, or a disappointing game, or a game you sit back and go, nah, he wasn't good. Every time I see him, I say, yeah, he should be playing more. And people might say, well, how do you fit him in? How do you fit him in with the likes of Tillman? If you looked at Rangers in this game, if this is going to be the blueprint, if this is going to be the formation, if this is going to be the style, I can see that working. Because if we've got Čolak / Morelos leading the line, that interchanging, back front three, I'm still going to call it, behind the striker, you could maybe fit in a Ken, a Tillman and an Alex Lowry. That's a hell of a lot of creativity and a hell of a lot of cleverness in your team. I could see that working, because again, we aren't so rigid in what we do and players need to be doing this. There seems to be a lot of freedom for the players. A lot of players let off the pretend leash, if you will, where it was go out there and do what you do. I know you're a good player, so do it, people. I didn't need you to stay to my style of play or my thinking, or you'll get dropped. Just go and be you. And that's what it felt like, freedom in this Rangers side, but in the right way, where players were approaching the game, the pressing, chasing teams. There was a point in the game, I think it was in the first half, I'm all over the place, but I'm excited and I'm happy, people, that Leverkusen had the ball in our boat, in our half, but we chased them. We put pressure on them and chased them all the way back, that they had to pass the ball back to their own goalkeeper. People, when's the last time we saw a Rangers team press the opposition like that, as a team, as a unit? That's what I'm taking away from this game. Friendly or not, ladies and gentlemen, there is sharp differences in this Rangers side, and long may that continue. And that's all I've really got to say about the game. If it was hard to pick man in the matches and everything, because there was so many changes in the game, but what I would say is every person who came on the park had a part to play in. I'm seeing all positives right here, ladies and gentlemen. What about you? What was your first reaction to Michael Beale's first game and charge? And again, didn't rubbish it as just a friendly, or if it's like a first game in pre-season. It's no, people. This was the game to get us ready for the game versus Hibs in the league. This is it. This is time now. And I was very impressed with that overall performance. What about you? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down there in the comment section below. And as always, I've been CJ Over 92. Thank you so much for watching. All the best and enjoy the World Cup.